Hello and welcome back to the File Scoreboard podcast. I'm your host, Gyroid Gaming, here with my co-host,
Adam the Atomizer.
Today we are going to be giving our rating on Super Mario Kart for the SNES. Now, in terms of how long we played this game, I played this game for about 45 to 50-ish minutes. I played enough that I have already played this game before and I could probably give it a good review. What about you, Atomizer?
I think I got to play about an hour. I didn't have much time, but that gave me enough time to get through maybe one or two Grand Prix.
Okay, so I'll start it off with gameplay. So, this week I didn't really have time to play, so I got up a little bit early and then I started playing before the recording. So, I've played for pretty much right before the recording session now.
Okay.
And I played for about 45 minutes. So, I started off with a Grand Prix, and then after I finished the Grand Prix, then I just played a bunch of time trials until you were ready to record the podcast. So, the interesting thing about this game is that the controls are very different. They're the same, but the way you drift is way bouncier, and the way it handles is kind of different. But I mean, overall, it's still a Mario Kart game, so there's not really much to be said for that. So, my gameplay score is a 15 out of 25.
I'll take a shot at it, but I mean, there's not really much to say here. It's a Mario Kart game. I kind of knew that going into it when I picked it, but at the same time, I wanted to see just how different it was from modern slash other Mario Kart games that came after it, and it is quite different. Not gonna lie, kind of similar to Mario Kart 64, but it just on a 2D plane. So, for gameplay, basically you drive around the track, you grab coins, big surprise, you grab items, big surprise, and what's interesting to me is that the item boxes come preloaded onto the track, and then stay broken once you drive through them, which means they hadn't created regenerating item boxes yet, so that was interesting to me. And the items are a bit... Well, they're the same items as we get today, but the green shell, throwing it behind me was kind of hard to manage, especially when I'm sliding around. But I'll get to more on that when we get to overall feel. But yeah, you drive around the course, you collect coins, you collect items, you try to get first. What did change, what interested me, was the life system. You had a certain number of lives, which I didn't get to explore because I didn't crash all that much. But I guess back then Nintendo wanted to introduce a lives system into the Mario Kart series, where if you lost all your lives, you'd be out of the race, which they kept for F-Zero, but they scrapped for Mario Kart, which I guess makes sense. One's more intense than the other, and Mario Kart was intended to be a more family-friendly racing game, while F-Zero was more intended to be for the gamers and stuff like that. That's my guess anyway. But that being said, it's still a Mario Kart game, which prevents me from giving it a perfect score. Because otherwise, if it was totally unique, I would have ended up giving a better score. But that being said, my score is nothing to sneeze at. Gameplay for me is a 20 out of 25.
So the next category is enjoyability. I'll take it away with this one. So for enjoyability, it's a bit interesting. I've always enjoyed the Mario Kart series, but this one is quite different from the regular Mario Kart franchise. So the way the drifts work is completely different. You jump really high before you drift, and the drifts aren't as sharp, so it really changes the dynamic of this game, as well as the different game modes are very different. So the way I played it is I played one Grand Prix, and then I played a bunch of the time trials before the podcast. So in the Grand Prix, we have you have to get within the top 4, I believe. It was either the top 4 or the top 6. I don't quite remember, but basically you have to not score last or second to last in order to stay in the competition. You have about 3 lives, and then if you lose a race, then you have to retry that race in the Grand Prix. So It's a bit of a different, it's a different vibe from the regular Grand Prix of the newer games. It's really more of trying to survive, while also trying to win too. But really, it's a race against not getting last, which I did find to be an interesting twist. I'm not super great at this title though, so it was quite difficult. Just the weird drifts, the way the cart handles, it just made it extremely difficult. But anyway, enough of that. The other game mode that we played was the time trial mode. So I played some time trials on the first stage, kind of trying to practice my drifting, and I played the same first course over and over and over again in order to really narrow down my time and get the maneuverability down. And I think I did pretty good. I managed to shave like 8 seconds off my first time from my last time. It was a gradual, like 1 second here, half a second there kind of thing. But once you really like practice the game enough, you do start to understand how the movement works, and you can get good enough to like get some decent times on it. But with all that being said, that puts my enjoyability score at a 17 out of 25.
Not bad. Okay, so enjoyability for me, I had a good time with this game for the little bit of time that I played it. Like, it felt interesting to go back to the roots of the Mario Kart series, seeing where it all began. That being said, learning the controls was a bit complicated because of the whole weird drifts, and the B button was used for everything instead of the A button, so that was kind of strange. Having to select stuff in the menu with the B button. That's just a funny thing I thought I'd mention, even though it didn't really affect anything. But, like, the races were simple enough because, like, racing on some of the courses I didn't quite recognize. I recognized the backgrounds and stuff, but not the layouts themselves, because I think those are from later in the game. Like, the later ones are what they brought back for the modern titles in the retro courses sections. But those were interesting as well. But I still had fun with it. Not as much fun as I could have had, but enough to rate my score an 18 out of 25.
Nice. So now on to overall feel. You said you had some pretty strong opinions there, so let's start with you.
Yeah. So I have nothing to pick about for the audio or the graphics because they're fine for the era. Like, for being the first Mario Kart game, they came out pretty well. It's the controls that are kind of strange to me. Like, for one thing, I've already mentioned the drifts. How, like, you tap the button and you start sliding, but by then you're already on the outer edge of the track, about to go into the dirt or the grass or the water or wherever. And by the time you're recovered, the second person's already caught up to you at that point. And like, at that point, you might as well just let off the gas, like we were talking about earlier. And that kind of just takes my score a little bit. As for everything else, I couldn't really tell when to do the boost, if the boost was even in that game at all. Because you know how Mario Kart games can go 3, 2, 1, go! And then there's like, you can hold on to, and then you get a rocket start.
I actually did figure that out in time trials. It took me quite a few tries, but it's like 3, and then you hold it after the 3. There's like 3, 2, 1, go, and then you get your super boost.
Oh.
I did a lot of experimentation, and I kind of blew my engine out quite a few times trying to figure it out. It's very hard to blow your engine out because you have to hold it really early, but I did it because I was trying to figure out where the super boost was.
I gotcha. Either way, I'm gonna stand by my score because I couldn't figure out the rocket boost. It should, unless it was probably a secret mechanic that they weren't gonna tell the gamers. Then, like, you never know. You never know. But my complaints about the controls aside, like the A button was the item button. Can you believe that? Like, the B button's the drive button, and the A button is the item button. I don't know what they're thinking with the control scheme. Maybe it's just like for something for the SNES, the button layout was fine. But at least for the NSO version, you could at least like switch the buttons to make it feel more natural. I don't know, like maybe the A button, the drive button, and the B button, the item button. Even if there was no brake button. I don't know. Anyway, that being said, this is why my overall feel is a 15 out of 25.
Interesting. Yeah, I had a lot of the same feelings, although I did figure out the super boost, and the drifts were annoying. I will give you that much. Like you said, the audio and the visual weren't really anything to complain about. But I honestly don't have a lot to say about overall feel that you haven't already said, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of covered it all in my rant.
Yeah, you did pretty much cover it all. But yeah, my score for that one is a 16 out of 25.
Oh, so you weren't that far above me.
Yeah, no. I figured out the super boost and stuff like that, so that was pretty much.
So I think we're gonna end up having kind of similar scores, but I gotta see how we did on replayability.
Yeah, I think your scores.
Speaking of which, do you want to take over on that?
Yeah, I'll take it away on that. I think your score is probably going to be much higher, just based off your 20 for the first category. So, replayability. Now, I don't know how much there is to do in this game, because all there is there's the 4 Grand Prix, there's 50 and 100cc. I don't know if you can unlock 150cc. Maybe you can. I know you can unlock the 4th cup, because I did not have it unlocked. So I'd say there's some replayability there. And time trials, although they don't really encourage you to keep playing it over and over again, because there's not like there's no scoreboards.
There's
besides,
no incentive.
Yeah, there's no incentive to do it. I enjoyed playing it over and over again because it was practice for me to get good at the controls. So like, I started at a minute 19 on the first level, and I slowly shifted down seconds by seconds until I got to like a 1 minute 11. And I got my average lap time from about 16 seconds to it was like ranging from 16 to 15 seconds, and I got it down to all sub 13 seconds on my last run.
Dang.
So I was improving, but it was still a bit difficult. So it's not like super replayable in my opinion. So I put that at a 12 out of 25.
Ooh. I think even on that, our score's going to be even further apart than you think. But my score's not perfect, but it's definitely higher than that. So, I think what is the influence between our replayability scores is the fact that if I had a second player to play against, then I might be convinced to play this game again. That and trying to unlock the 4th Grand Prix and maybe 150cc if it actually is unlockable. But, like I said, if I had a second player to play this with, then I'd probably play again just to see if I could actually beat them or not. But it's still not a strong argument for replayability. But that being said, this does put my score at an 18 out of 25.
Nice. I believe that would put us in the same tier, but let's announce our scores. I am at a 60 out of 100 overall.
And my overall score is a 71 out of 100. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I checked before the podcast, this puts me in between Limbo and Star Wars Plug and Play.
Oh yes,
yours puts you just below Shrek 2.
I'm willing to have it be pulled up. I believe it's better than Shrek 2, but I gave it scores based off my honest feedback.
Oh, I got you. That was my honest feedback, but I landed right in that sweet spot.
Yeah. But, let's see. I'd be willing to go... Do we think it's better than F-Zero? That's the question. I feel like the F-Zero game was different in a way that
I mean, yeah, you're right. I think...
I
think F-Zero was good, because, like, I do enjoy the F-Zero games. Like, I enjoy the way they feel, I enjoy the way they play.
Like, if we're...
It's just... if I'm ignoring Limbo, then...
Yes,
I feel like it would be below F-Zero.
Yeah, ignore Limbo. If we're rating F-Zero and Super Mario Kart both equally, just those individual games, not their franchises, which game did you like better? Personally, I enjoyed F-Zero better.
I do agree. I think I enjoyed F-Zero more. Like, it felt more comfortable to play.
Okay, so that gives us a range of 66 to 63, where Yoshi's at 63. I'm assuming we're putting it above Yoshi.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you like to put it at? Just right smack in the middle, or do you want it like right below, like 65? Is it 65 or 64? Or you could even match 66 or 63.
I was gonna say, let's put it like, let's give it a 65. Because it's close, but it's not quite.
Works for me. So that puts Super Mario Kart solidly in B tier. Right below F-Zero Climax and right above Yoshi's Island, Mario Advance 3.
Reasonable. Perfectly reasonable. Now, if I'm not mistaken, since I chose Super Mario Kart, this does mean you get to pick our next game.
That it does. So, I do have a game I want to try. The problem was I wasn't sure how feasible it is going to be for you to try. Because this is a PlayStation game. We've never played PlayStation games, but there is a PlayStation emulator. I can try to run you through getting the PlayStation emulator and getting this game. Unless you already have the PlayStation emulator, because you might from Battlefront.
Battlefront I have on Steam.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll run you through getting this. But the game I want to pick is Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night?
Yes. According to Reddit, it is one of the best Castlevania games.
Alright, one moment.
And if for some reason we can't get this to work, then we will go with the original Castlevania for the NES. But
Okay.
by next week, we will let the viewers know at the beginning of the episode if we got Symphony of the Night working. But according to cursory Reddit reviews, Symphony of the Night seems to be agreed to be one of the better Castlevania games.
Yeah, I just went to the Wikipedia page and checked the platforms. Yeah, it is both PlayStation and Sega Saturn. But since I have neither of those, you would have to get me a PlayStation emulator.
Yeah, I can send them to you, or I could even just find the link again. I should have the emulator somewhere. Let me double check.
I don't know. I just found it weird that the Castlevania game would be on a PlayStation, even though it seems to be a Nintendo name, unless it's a third party.
I don't know. It might be a third party. I have no idea.
I don't know. I could just be going off the fact that Simon and Richter are smashed, but that's just me. Man, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That's gonna be interesting for sure. I've never considered playing a Castlevania game before.
Yeah, me neither. I was looking up a list literally during the episode because I forgot to I forgot to pick my game beforehand. So during the episode, I was looking at a list of best games, best retro games, and I saw Castlevania, and I was like, you know what? Castlevania is a series we've never delved into.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll help you download that, and if it works, then we'll play that. If it doesn't, we'll play the original Castlevania. Either way, a Castlevania game is what we're gonna play, and that will also open our horizons to more PlayStation games in the future. We've been very Nintendo coded as of this whole thing. There's been a couple of deviations, such as Star Wars Plug and Play, and Star Wars Jedi Academy,
Contra Hardcore,
and Contra. Yeah, so there's a couple of deviations from Nintendo, but I think to be fair to retro games in general, we do need to start branching out a little bit more.
And if that's the case, I do have an idea for a couple more in coming weeks, but that's future us's problem.
I do also have a different idea of another game I wanted to try as opposed to this one, but this is the one I want to do this week.
Okay.
Alright, that's it. Thank you guys for watching this episode. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/File Scoreboard, and where we post all of our videos of our gameplay eventually. And we will, and we have our podcast feed over there too, as well as on Apple and Spotify. Check out Atomizer's channel at YouTube and Twitch. Check out my channel, YouTube. I don't really use Twitch very often, but maybe Twitch if you are hoping for once in a while Saturday streams. And with all that being said, we will see you guys next time. Later.
See ya.